Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe. If you wait for the end of the video, you'll forget. So yeah, guys, I graduated and during
Congratulations! We
thank
are so proud
you.
of you.
I was at a graduation ceremony, MOOC, recently, last month, and the atmosphere was very interesting. I saw the difference between the graduates and the undergraduates. So I want to explore and remember, like reminisce. Let's go back and remember how it felt like that time, the day of graduation, how it was preparing to get into the real world. So my name is Amanda,
Samantha.
Priscilla.
and this is Kamli Alliance. So do you guys remember how graduation was like? Do you remember the feel? How you guys felt the night of preparing the outfits?
Yeah.
How was that like?
It's so interesting that when you're a child, because I'd say when you're just graduating, you're still a child, kind of. When you're a child, you're in a hurry to grow up. I was so excited about getting a job, being a big girl, having responsibilities, paying bills, really being independent. So when I graduated, I could not wait to do the next thing, which is get a job, work, do my master's, which I did soon after graduating. So I thought I was lucky enough that I got a job 3 months after doing my master's. I started working in the oil and gas industry. And when you're doing that interview, when they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I quickly said, oh, I see myself as a manager.
Standard.
And life is so interesting that when you get into the career, no one ever tells you about the things that really matter. When you're in a career, your skills, yes, will matter maybe for the first 3, 4, 5 years. But after that, what I have learned is that your technical skills can only take you so far. The relationships you build inside your company, outside your company, those are things that matter, that will progress your career. So I would encourage the young people who are entering jobs to focus on building relationships inside their organizations and outside, but within their industries. Networking is more important than technical skills. Building meaningful relationships, not just networking as an event, but building and being very intentional about relationships.
Yeah. For me, graduation, I was excited. First of all, I was away from home. I was already excited that I'm coming back home. I was in a hurry to graduate. I did we had a program where I had 2 courses left to graduate. So I made sure I did my community service during a holiday. So I didn't have the last holiday. I did a
What is
thesis.
community service?
Community service was a course unit. It was a requirement for graduation. You had to do some kind of community services like charity,
Like
charity
voluntary.
work, voluntary
Okay.
work. So I did that during. Usually people spread it out. They give you an amount of hours. We had an amount of hours we had to cover. So I had to work a long time during the holidays because we had to cover up in 3 weeks what would have taken us the whole semester. So yeah, and then I also did I chose to do a thesis instead of do research instead of doing internship, which by the way, big mistake. I don't know why I was in a hurry, but I needed to come. I wanted to finish and come. It was I thought when you finish, you come and things work out quickly. You're done with uni, you leave it aside, you get into the job market. So I think I missed the memo of internship because jobs usually ask for experience. An internship gives you that. It gives you a peek into the corporate or the work environment. And I skipped out on that. And it's easier. In the grand scheme of things, going to work is easier than doing research. But it's more beneficial. It's more hectic, but beneficial because you have to travel. I was in a different country, so I had to look for the job yourself. But it's even when you look for jobs in the real market, they usually, if you are students, they are, I think, they're more open to giving students opportunities than they are a permanent opportunity to a normal person looking for a job. So yeah, that was my experience. It wasn't as easy in penetrating work environments, any kind of career, as I thought.
Yeah.
So I was deflated. My energy was deflated right after uni. Yeah. How was yours, Priscilla?
Mine was very similar to yours. By the time I was graduating, first and foremost, I had missed the graduation with my year mates because I hadn't finished doing my research. Why hadn't I finished doing my research? It was lost. Anyone who went to MOOC, you can make of that what you will. So an entire year later, I didn't have a retake. I had done a retake, I think, in second year. Third year I didn't have, but I hadn't finished my research. So a whole year later, I've gone into now, I think, what they like to call, what do they call it? Hard knock life. I was against greasing any wheels to help along with the process. But no matter who I spoke to, my thesis, my work remained lost, my booklet. Now, I don't know if you guys remember that time we used to save on these, what are they called? Floppy
disk.
Yes. Now, I had saved, I had been going to a cafe to do my work, so I had saved on a floppy. And something happened, I don't know what, only that one time I go in to try and reprint after my things are lost, and there's nothing. No backup, nothing.
Wow.
That's how I ended up sitting like an entire year. Kept intermittently going back in to my the director's office, but things remained lost. So one day I was having a chat and someone just said, but why don't you just say, but that's not
do
how I
it
want
again.
to start life. No, just it's like, that's not how I want to start my life. Because in my head, you have these ideas that you want everything perfect.
Yeah.
You want,
Prim and proper.
yeah. So one day I'm sitting there and they say, oh, the list is out, the next graduation. So I remember telling mommy, she was like, go and check. Told her, check for what? I don't have a. So she's like, so what's the plan? I told her, this is the plan. I'll look for something else to do. So I remember she passed me an envelope and told me, go. You people. I went and gave that I don't even remember who I gave that envelope to. The very next day.
They found your paper.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The education.
And the next week I was on the list.
Wow.
And that was my intro into real life.
Wow.
And of course, once you're on the list and they tell you, oh, you have to clear quickly. Now, if you've done private, clearing is a whole other process. You beg, you plead, you have doors shut in your face. Why? You're just trying to prove that you've paid everything. So you're schlepping around with this file with the receipts, office to office. You go here, you line up for 2 hours. They tell you, you're in the wrong place. No, you're going to go to the other building. Go to this floor, this office, you go. You go, you reach that office, you find someone is closing up, they're leaving for the day. You come back tomorrow. Like that. You people, by the time I graduated, I was disgusted with this adulting thing. Like I was over it. I was like, this is adulting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'm done.
Yeah.
But then I saw the pride and the joy. Like, of course, there was that feeling of we had to wait a whole year. Meanwhile, how much was it, that envelope? 60,000
Shillings.
shillings. You thought dollars?
I thought
shillings.
I don't know million. I don't know what I thought it
That's what I'm
was.
trying to tell you. Like, you would think it was a lot that made me sit an entire extra year. 60,000 Uganda shillings.
For context,
Why
how
didn't-
much is that in dollars?
Who can help me with that
That's
math?
like $1 is 3 something.
Yeah.
That's like
What,
20
20 something dollars?
that's like 20. My God. Why didn't they tell you this before the first time in your real time?
Because no one really voices it. It's like an unspoken code.
Thing.
Yeah. No one was going to say. Mm-mm. So I graduate. I remember the night before graduation just thinking,
Did you attend?
yeah. Did I want to attend? No. I attended because my parents were happy. This was something that I felt like they had earned even more than I had. And as a parent now, after you've been paying tuition for however long to get your child to that point, I get it now. Then I didn't. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Oh, thank God you did.
Yeah. So I put on my black top with my silver pants and a belt, my silver belt, cinched. Put on that gown, went, sat in the Kavuyo and the rain and the mud and the... My name was red. My name was red. And then I went and took photos. And I said, okay,
Deal done.
now what next?
The other thing I saw at MOOC that was very amusing
Yeah.
is they just read your name and you stand up. That was confusing to me.
Yeah, they no longer do the whole thing of you're walking up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was our year that they did that first, because the years before people had been actually, but now was so many that they had now changed the system to now they just read your name. You
And
guys
that's
even
it.
had the privilege of standing. For us, we stood as a group.
For them,
Even-
they even had TVs. Yeah, you see your name with the course
We
you've
didn't
done.
have that. You were just eager to hear,
Your name.
My
make sure that
goodness.
and
you
it's
hear your
printed
name.
in the book.
And if you missed it, then you would see your friend standing and you stand and you know, hey. And then, of
I'm
course,
nearby.
highlighting it in the book.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Me, I was like, what? This is what we came for, just to sit and stand? I was so confused.
That's it.
First of all,
And the joy that small thing gives, like the people who have supported you up to that point.
I know. Even my
Before
mom was like, I didn't see you in the frame. You're not serious. I'm like, hey.
First of all, before you even get to that point of graduation, the process of attending lectures. You know, we were thousands of people in our year. Sometimes you'd go to class and it's so packed, you have to attend class through the window.
Wow.
Be a econ.
Econ. I was going to
Oh
ask you
my
if it was
God,
econ. I was going
econ.
to ask you because I remember the econ classes. Sometimes you just stood at the door and tried. And then if you were lucky and a friend of yours had been somewhere in the melee and had recorded something, then you would get some notes.
It is a miracle I graduated.
It's so interesting. My uni, I think it was like an extended high school. We had roll call. We're not that many starters. But even missing class, I don't think you would have, we had a rule, if you miss 5 classes, you're getting an F. So we really had to attend class. It was the only time, when uni starts and you're like, let me go after a week. No. There are some even lecturers that reduce 2 marks for each class you miss.
I
And
think
that
for us,
contributes to the end of your final mark.
that makes sense.
So we're not playing.
That makes sense. I think for us, our first year, they were doing the roll call. Then after that, at some point, I don't know what happened.
It is as well.
But I can tell you that for me, I will tell you honestly, the lectures that I actually attended in person, I can count, okay, not on one hand, not on 2 hands also.
For me, on 2
But I
hands.
wasn't, yeah.
I
But I
count
wasn't
mine
very
on 2
keen. I wasn't
hands.
very keen on going in. I was keen on picking notes and studying
Yeah.
and making sure I sat all the papers. But lectures,
There was such a
Hustle.
hectic hustle.
of course, me, I had my other reasons why I stopped attending that I don't want to go into now on camera. But yeah, it's, yeah.
Then that begs the question, is that kind of education still relevant in today's setting?
If it hadn't been for you following up and getting notes from friends, would you have?
No, I mean, doing university vis-a-vis doing technical vocational training.
Oh,
Is that
I
something we need to
mean,
think about now that we have
I think it's honestly based on like your personal preference. Because if you know that something is not,
that
Serving
formal
you.
yeah,
training?
that's the right phrase, serving you. If the bottom line for you is, you know, this thing, at the end of the day, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to.
How would you feel as a parent if your son came to you and told you, I do not want to do uni, I'm more interested in being an artist, a painter?
You're literally speaking my life. I wanted to be an artist.
Oh my God.
Really?
Literally. And I remember being told wherever I went that, because it started with my parents, and they said, you're not, you can't. How?
Like what kind of artist?
I just wanted to do art.
Graphics?
Draw?
I didn't even know. I just know I wanted to start with some form of art. I don't even remember if it was painting. You know, it was such a long time ago. But I remember very passionately wanting to have my to work as an artist. I don't remember if it was painting specifically. I remember I also wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to get to fashion design. I
Oh,
knew that's where I
okay.
wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to go abroad. So for me, my thinking was, let me do something in the arts space and then find a way to work my way there. I didn't even know how.
I think what
But
Samantha's a solution to your thing is, I think back then we didn't have many options. Now we have, I think there should be a fashion design degree somewhere.
so many.
Yeah.
No, but are you going to learn
But you see, there are parents who you will
hands-on
not,
training?
who will not hear that also.
Is it
But
better
also-
to go to a class and study about the history of fashion and all that than going to a vocation institution where they do actual tailoring, teach you how to draw these designs, stitching, cutting?
where in the fashion space do you want to land? Because depending on where you want to land, you might need the history.
And as parents, are we open-minded enough that if your child told you that they want to do a vocational training, will you be okay with that?
My experience makes me, because I felt like I met so many doors, and eventually the picking what I picked as a course at uni was for me to just meet an obligation and have a professional degree. And I came to that decision after sitting down. I don't even remember who it was, you guys. I remember feeling so frustrated, and I sat down with someone who told me, life is long. Like, sometimes when you're at that age, you just want what you want when you want it.
Right there and
And I
then.
remember this person, I don't remember who it was, and I'm feeling so bad. This person painted a picture of, look, life is long. Do that degree. Finish it. Use that as a stepping stone. Whether it is you're going to work and earn and then try to see how to get into the fashion space that you want to get into, whether vocationally, like doing a vocational something, or taking yourself back to uni.
I feel like that is also pushing you away from what you should really be doing.
At the point, I didn't feel like I had many choices.
Yeah, because I think it takes, is it 10 years to become an expert at something?
Yeah.
So if you focus more on what it is that you're passionate about and go into that right from the start, focus on that. Because now there's also this thing of universities are churning students out in the
So,
thousands.
Yes.
And these kids have nowhere to go and find jobs. They're not
Yeah.
jobs. So these vocational skills empower children and empower people to have a hands-on skill that you can create your own job.
But
I
also
feel
another thing that I want to say, that one of the things that I felt later, much later in life, I'm thinking what, 15, 20 years later, was I should have advocated for myself.
Yes.
I really should have. I should have stood up and said, I'm going to pursue this. This is what I want to do.
And that's it.
And I'm going to follow through with it. Because later, I remember at some point sitting down one time, I was watching this documentary about Vera Wang, the wedding gown designer, and how her parents paid for proper uni. And she never showed up. She never showed up. And she had been told, there is no way you're going to go into fashion and design. That's not, well, you can't. You're going to embarrass our family.
Mm.
And I watched this documentary. I don't remember the real details, but I think she never showed. And eventually she picked, I think, what a payment was given to her, and she went ahead to go and pay for fashion school. And then eventually had to open up and tell her parents. This is not facts, by the way. I don't remember the exact details, but that documentary stood out to me because I felt like,
You
why
could relate.
like I could so relate with
And
that.
that Asian culture is very similar to African culture,
Yes.
where our parents had this mindset of it's school, there's no other way around it. You have to go to university, you have to get a degree.
Yes.
So Asians have that same
Yes.
similar culture to
Yes.
Africans.
I think even me, generally, from the way have been brought up, I don't understand a child telling me they don't want to go to university. Honestly. First of all, leave alone the book stuff. There's the experience of it that is very important. It allows you to mature. It's an age where you think you're too grown, but you're really still a child. So it also contains you. You grow in a contained environment.
Controlled, kind of.
Like, yeah, it's a little bit controlled. But also in the world, in the social circles I've been around, there's a certain respect they accord people that have gone to university. They don't even ask what degree, what. It's like something unspoken that you see happening. The way they treat, like even in friend groups, like when you see someone that didn't go to uni, there's always something off about them.
And also
Or
looking
they're
at looking at
intimidated.
our
But-
parents and the world and the way the world was and what they had been exposed to. First and foremost, there was this whole thing of people who go into art and those,
MDD.
bagenda kuononeka. And the whole thing about artists, even I think abroad it's there that artists have this lifestyle that they live that is not quite, by the book. So I can understand
Their
now.
hesitation.
Yes, I can understand now as a parent, I can understand their hesitation.
I was also looking at, when I was at Makerere, I was looking at the degrees they were doing. And some degrees I was like, so the person that has done this one, what are they trying to be in the future? Because they couldn't get it.
Like what?
I always used to laugh with my friends because I used to say that I was along for the ride. I was doing my degree, yes, but honestly, I didn't see a future. I learned to speak like I did because I noticed that's what people understood and respected. But I felt like we used to laugh over the years as new people were joining, would go and check and be like, they've added this one. Surely this one is for people who are trying to find their way. As they're in uni, they're trying to find where they fall. Like you said, it's sometimes it's even just having that control of you're going to walk into a class, you're going to study, you're
Yeah.
not just going to be there.
You have to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether
So you're showing
fun.
up somewhere, even if you're not, but you're showing up somewhere. So I think it was mean. Honestly, it was mean, giggling at those courses that we used to read and be like, but what is this?
Even like the popular one, MDD. I was like, are you going to be like everyone was? Every course I would see and I'd ask my colleague. I'd be like, and this one they'll be like teacher, and this one they'll be like teacher. I was like, there are some courses. Their courses have been breaking down, and I think it's also been spoken about even outside, like in the outside Western world. There are very many small courses. There's a joke that was made sometime when they say there's a course on Beyonce. Like there are so many degrees that people are
Totally niched
yes,
down
that
to
they are a joke generally. You see, when you go to university, like I told you, my university had a program for, you had community service, you had to do a language. There's a well-rounded program and world you're exposed to in university. which you do not get to expose to, because when you're tunnel vision, sometimes you miss out.
Yeah.
If you're only on history and you don't know what's happening, like you said, we only know the African history, we don't know what's happening in Europe, or you don't know, some things seem irrelevant, but they help in well-roundedness. So even maybe they teach you to be open, to be
Soft skills,
more
acquiring those soft
understanding.
skills
Yeah, those other
that
skills.
lead to what Samantha talked about,
Yeah.
like how to actually form relationships and how to
So I feel
nurture
like
them.
uni is very important. Yes, there's sometimes vocational skills. There are some exceptional children. You would also see you're cheating, like you, like you said, David didn't want to do engineering, he wanted to be a musician. Some kids are exceptional, but you cannot bet that your kid will be the one exception all the time. So unless
Are
they
we
prove
assuming
it,
are we assuming that vocational doesn't have that? Not many of them have that, like you said, a structured, well-rounded.
yes, because she said now like vocational, like I'm thinking like a tailoring course, right? A tailoring course is okay, but what are the chances what are the chances of you going into a well-established fashion house and they employ you and
Now
promote you
that
through
is
the
that
ranks?
is the challenge I have with formal education,
Yeah.
because it makes you, it narrows your thinking. It narrows your scope. You tend to now have this group think approach of, I have to finish school and then get into
After
a
school,
corporate
and
job,
this is where I'm going,
and then
and
I'll
then
go
from the
into a
corporate job, this
managerial
is
role.
yeah.
No, life is big. The world is open. If you do that tailoring course, you can create your own fashion brand. You don't have to go looking for a job. You don't have to go into someone else's company and build their dreams. No.
That's what I'm
That's what I
saying.
love about vocational training.
Yeah.
It makes you an entrepreneur from day one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I love that, but I said there's always exceptions to the rule.
Mm-hmm.
When parents are training us, the reason they tell us respect people, do this, because you can have your own company and be the boss, and no one will tell you anything.
Yeah.
But sometimes they teach you like calm down, listen to people, listen to people's
Even running your own
opinions.
company, you need people. So
Even you
Yeah.
need business
You need
skills. Like,
those
are they
skills.
teaching you like economics, like like there's many things you need. And yes, you might learn. I feel like school sometimes. Yes, you're right. School churns out people that
cookie cutter.
Yes. Group
yes,
think.
yeah, that
You don't
always
think out of
are
the
thinking
box.
of job seeking, right?
Yes. Job
But I feel like
seeker.
job seeking, I feel like you're still a step ahead than
How many of us are
someone.
doing what we actually
Yeah.
Studied.
for?
While I look back at uni, I feel like also, much as I was in school and in uni, there's so many things I was not prepared for in the real world. And some of, like I said, I did an intern. No one even advised me to do an internship.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing a project. Okay. Perhaps my parents didn't know because they were not aware of what the school system is. But the people in school, no one said, why don't you? We had career advisors, and those are the ones we used to record those things with, courses, semester courses with. No one advised me. It's easier to get to prepare for life. You need to walk into the workspace. I wasn't advised on, in case it doesn't work out, how it will look like. I wasn't advised on where to apply. I came out thinking, there's a time I applied for a job. I got a job in an embassy. And it's only when I reached there that I realized there's no growth here. Because first of all, this is a foreign embassy. I'm just support staff and I can't go through the chambers. And then, of course, getting into the workforce itself has been complicated. You think they tell you go to, now for me who studied away, you would hand in your CV and transcripts, and then they're like, what is this? Go to a council, go translate. And then I'm like, but this is like foreign affairs. You should know how relevant international relations is. Why do I need to go translate it for you to understand? Read the course units.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, why did you study this one in undergrad? Why didn't you do it as masters? I'm like, but we are here.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know, maybe we need career counseling programs for people going to university before they go there, so that when they're choosing courses, even they already know not specifically where to fall, because you don't want to limit your options, but also like strategy. What are you thinking? Where would you fall? What can you do to get there? Things like that.
Yeah, so I feel like it's really nice what you said, like that's someone to just hold your hand and not necessarily give you direction, but be able to understand where you are and also to be able to glimpse where you want to go. And then maybe if they're not in a place to help you, then they know where to point you. But then again, thankfully, there are people who are now doing that professionally. You can go, you can even do personality tests and all of that. And it will very clearly show you what alignment, what aligns with you and what you want. For myself, what would I say? First and foremost, I've come to believe God doesn't make mistakes. But also, I want to say to you, young man, young lady, if you know what you want to do and if you're passionate, you don't need to sit back and wait to be told. These days, there is so much knowledge at our fingertips. I feel like these days there are so many more options. Research online, try and get appointments with all these different people. It will be very difficult for someone in a profession that you want to get into to turn you away and not give you a minute to just download some gold onto you. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah, for me, speaking to the young girls, especially out there, the first thing I would say to you is to seek out for an ally, someone who is ahead of you and somebody you see yourself turning into
A
5 years
mentor.
ahead. Not a mentor, an ally, a
To
champion,
speak for you.
a champion, someone who will speak for you in rooms where you're not. That is something so important. So seeking out someone who will always go to war for you, who will make sure that you're promoted, who will make sure that you scale in your career. That is something I've been missing in my journey. I've had mentors here and there, but having a champion who will talk for you in rooms where you're not is even more important.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would advise the young girls out there is to grow a career portfolio. Do not focus only on the job that you're doing in the organization you're working. Look at what you can do for yourself outside of your 9 to 5. And I feel that is where you should put most of your energy. No one will ever tell you that. But make sure you look into yourself, sit with yourself, plan out your life 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. What do you want for your life? What life do you see yourself living? Envision it. Sit in your mind very clearly. What is it you're passionate about? And start working towards that. Because I have found that a job, your 9 to 5, will not fulfill you. Normally, that's not where your purpose lies. So look into yourself and work on those hands-on skills. What thing can you do that will bring you money? What product can you sell? What service can you sell? So working on your salesmanship is also very key because you need that as an entrepreneur. My advice for you, do not keep your dreams for the future. Start working on your dreams today. Work on your 5 to 9 more than you work on your 9 to 5. That's all from me.
I love that.
I
love
like I like
so
that.
much.
Your job is not where your purpose lies.
Yeah.
No.
And also one of the things that when you mentioned for you to seek out an ally, a champion,
Yeah.
we need to have an understanding. I don't know that it's something that maybe is right of me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
Just as there are people who will champion you, there are people who will
Try to impede.
not hesitate to impede your journey or to tear you down.
Girl.
Yeah.
So you need to recognize that and to know, because like Samantha said, if you've mapped out your career, you called it a portfolio,
Portfolio.
then someone pulling you to the side and telling you, I feel like you're not aligning yourself, or you're not, or someone pulling you to the side and telling you, if you do not have dinner with me, if you do not do what follows after dinner with me, I'm going to make sure that you do not progress beyond, because those things are happening. Those things are very real from levels that you can't even imagine. Like, I'm talking about even before entering the workspace. So learn to, is it discernment?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Just because someone is older than you and ahead of you doesn't mean that they know everything. It doesn't mean that what they're speaking into your life
Is the truth.
is the truth. You have to know. If you've mapped out, if you've envisioned, if you've seen it for yourself, then you know your truth, you know your capabilities. And it's not to someone else to come to tell you what you cannot do. Be very aware of someone telling you what you cannot do.
Yeah. So when you talk about people out there trying to tear you down, I'd also want these the young men and women out there getting ready to go into the real world. You need to be aware. There are some people out there that are going to test your values, test your patience, but you need to stand strong. You need to know, don't allow anyone to make you a beggar. Don't allow anyone to take advantage of you. My friend told me about a lady that was at her workplace that needed to go to, that was, she was volunteering. I think she was starting out. She was entry position. And the boss went to the toilet and did his business. And I think they had no water and left the seat open and said, go fix it. What? People are going to try you out here in the real world. But you need to stay strong. Stand up for yourself. If you know your rights, read those contracts. Understand what is required of you. There's also another place I worked at, and I wanted to leave at 5. I was getting ready to leave, and then the lady asked me and said, Madam, where are you going? I was like, home. Isn't it 5? She's like, who gave you permission?
Can you believe that?
I was like, yeah. So work, it's a battlefield out here. You need to be
spiritual battlefield in the workplace.
It's a spiritual one and a real one. You need to be prepared, but also don't worry. It's lovely.
You can make it.
You have made it. Let no one lie to you that it's not an achievement. What you have achieved is great.
Yeah.
Many people have tried and failed on the way. Be proud of yourself and
Celebrate.
Pray
yourself.
to God.
Celebrate
Prayer.
yourself, yes.
Stay centered.
Yeah.
Stay centered with prayer.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Let us know. Share with us your experiences and advice for these new graduates down here.
Thank you. Bye.